But here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. But here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Ooh, sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Great to be here with all of you. Welcome to our Sunday What's Next webinar. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Deirdre Shelley, and I was the national coordinator for Sunday, and I'll be your MC for tonight's call. So thanks again for making time to hop on. For those of you who may be just got an email or just signed up for this webinar and aren't sure what Sunday is, it was a national mobilization and day of action a little over a week ago on September 21st. And it was really a celebration of the power of wind and solar energy, and was a moment for thousands of people all across the country, even people in other countries all across the world, to stand up to everyone who's trying to slow down the energy transition and really say with one clear voice that we're ready for clean energy now. This was the first Sunday in many decades. There was actually one a long time ago, but we've sort of revived it for the first time this year. And it was planned by a coalition of really incredible groups, some of whom you'll hear from tonight, who have been leading work around clean energy for years and years. And we ended up having well over 500 events all over the US, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little. Tonight's call, we're really looking more forward. We'll do a brief recap of Sunday, share a little bit about what went on. We have a short video from Sunday's spokesperson, Bill McKibben, that he recorded for us, so we'll listen to that. And then our main event for tonight is to hear from some really incredible speakers. Like I said, folks who have been leading amazing clean energy campaigns for a long time, or some people who are maybe starting new campaigns in the coming weeks and months and have ways for you to get involved in their work. So that'll be the main portion of our call today, and then we'll close out after that. And one quick housekeeping thing, if you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A feature in Zoom. We'll be sharing links in the chat for links for different campaigns and organizations for you to maybe follow up with or get involved with. So we're going to mostly use the chat for that. But if you have questions, please use the Q&A, and our team will work hard to answer them throughout the call. And I think I'm ready for slide 3. So for those of you who maybe missed Sunday, like I said, we had over 500 events, big and small. Some were 5 people, some were well over 500. It's hard to estimate exactly how many people joined, but we know it was well over 10,000. we had people who maybe they had 100 people RSVP and 300 showed up. So it made it a little hard to get an exact number, but we definitely know that thousands and thousands of people saw and heard the Sunday message on the 21st. We had made a big imprint on social media, had a big press push, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And I have on the next few slides some pictures from different events in Idaho, New Jersey. I have some Michigan and Pennsylvania ones. We saw events focused on electric transportation, so EVs, e-bikes, electric buses. Um, we saw a lot of faith-led gatherings in different congregations. There were events with state and local and federal officials who were there to talk about policies that will make it easier to build clean energy in communities everywhere. We saw a ton of family-focused, family-friendly events that were clean energy fairs. One in Farmington, Maine said that there was almost too much to do at their event because they just had so many great demonstrations and displays. I heard from a host in Fargo, North Dakota, who had a really fun event with a solar oven. Talked to some folks in Arkansas who had folks make comments to their Public Service Commission to try to make sure that they don't increase their utility rates too much. Um, and one of my favorites, there was a solar powered concert with a Navajo Western band out in Monument Valley, Utah. And the report back we heard from there was just that everyone there wanted to know how they could get their hands on solar panels. So, really great events all over. And thank you if you're on this call and you maybe hosted or helped plan an event over the summer, or if you just attended one. Thank you so much for being there and making Sunday possible. Um, in terms of press, I think I have the next slide. We were really wowed by the amount of coverage that Sunday got. I know we've sent some of it to your email, and you've maybe seen a little bit. I have a sampling of headlines here on this slide, but we got a great story in the New York Times that was covering different Sunday events happening all over, sort of a profile, and then got some really amazing and maybe more importantly, like local and state hits, where people were able to talk about what the clean energy transition would mean in their town or city or county. We had a lot of folks on public radio. So thanks to everyone who maybe helped reach out to local press. Obviously, even though we know tons of people attended Sunday events, getting the word out on press, in local media and on social media is a really good way for us to, reach even more, a bigger audience and maximize our impact. So thanks to everyone who made it happen. And I'll let Bill McKibben have the final word here. He was the real driving force behind a lot of the Sunday work, and he left a video for us today, so we can play that now.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill McKibben. I wish I was here live with you, but in fact, I'm en route to Rome to talk about solar energy with the new American Pope, should be great. They're going to become the first fully solarized country in the world, Vatican City, in short order, which makes me very happy. But what made me really happy was what happened on Sunday. It exceeded everyone's wildest imaginings. 500 plus events, and the media attention that it got meant that millions, tens of millions of Americans knew all about it. We could not have asked for better coverage, and that's because you all did such an amazing job of putting together creative, beautiful, powerful events all over the place. Can we make it matter? I think so. It's not easy because our country is currently being run by a man who went to the UN last week to explain that solar power and wind power don't work. Um, uh, what can I tell you? Um, we have to take the momentum and the engagement that we built and with it create this ongoing movement for clean energy at the state, local, national, and global level. And that's what we're about now. There's lots of campaigns to come up. The thing that kept arising place after place was the need for easier local permitting for rooftop solar and balcony solar, for community solar, for all the ways that people can get more easily engaged in this revolution. So that's a big part of it. And so is the work that we're all doing to get public utility commissions and state legislatures to make it easier to site and build transmission lines and things for renewable energy projects. There's on and on, fantastic work to be done by us all. But we have gotten it started. We have gotten it started with your magnificent energy. The sun provides energy every day. It streams at us all the time. But human energy is harder to build because there are so many things going on at any given moment, so many things to take us in other directions. That we all managed to unite for this day was a beautiful, powerful example of what human energy looks like. And I hope that you all are as proud as I am of the work that we're doing together. On we go.
Thanks so much. So like Bill said, for many of us, the work is just getting started, and we're going to hear from 5 key Sunday partners who have ways for you to get involved. Before I pass it to our first speaker, we'll share a link in the chat for every speaker for you to learn more and follow up, maybe sign up for an email list or a call or a next step. If you don't capture every single one, we're also going to send them to you in an email tomorrow, so don't worry. But do look in the chat for more information. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Annie from Solar United Neighbors.
Thanks, Deirdre. Hi, everyone. Excited to be here this evening. My name is Annie Wolf. I am the VP of Community Impact at Solar United Neighbors. Sun is a vendor-neutral nonprofit. We represent the needs and interests of solar homeowners and supporters across the U.S. We partnered with Sunday and hosted events across the country. We are a national organization. We have programs on the ground in 13 states as well as DC and Puerto Rico, but can help you no matter where you are. Over the last decade plus of being in existence, we've helped over 10,000 families go solar, and we've generated more than $180 million worth of solar investments and facilitated over 2,000 plus solar jobs. So we are all about helping you go solar and making sure that it works for you. Our theory of change is that going solar is just the first step in your journey. And so whether you're solar curious, you are a community solar subscriber, you have panels on your rooftop, you are getting panels on your farm through the Rural Energy for America program, that's step number one. And then we want to join together and fight for our energy rights. So those who are invested in solar, whether it's by passion or by actual hardware on your roof, you're the best storytellers and the ways that we can change our lawmakers' minds about what belongs in legislation when it comes to solar. We center equity at our core as well. We really believe that rooftop solar and your own generation of power is a cornerstone of a just and equitable energy transition. So we have lots of things going on. It very much depends on where you are, but we also have national work as well. So the link that Deirdre will drop in the chat is to our main website. You can take a look there on our different events that we have going on, our different solar information, and you can even take action this evening. That QR code gets you to an action to tell Congress that you still support solar energy. We faced a lot over the last few months, but your lawmakers still need to hear from you that you care about solar energy and want this to move forward. So we're really excited about what comes next, not just through Sunday, but also for solar energy. The revolution can only be slowed, not stopped. So really excited about what comes next.
Thanks so much, Annie. Slow, not stopped. I like that. Probably going to steal it. Thanks so much. And for folks who didn't see, I put the Solar United Neighbors link in the chat, so please go check them out. And our next speaker, we have Jeremy from Third Act to share a little bit about their work.
Terrific. Thank you so much. I love getting to follow this act because Annie and the work that has been happening at Solar United Neighbors is so critical and is so much in line, hand in hand with some of the things I'm hoping to get you all out there involved in. Whether it's 8 p.m. for you, you're thinking about what book to curl up with tonight, decompress for the night, or maybe for some of our West Coasters, you're just coming off of busy days. I'm so grateful for you all. The way you showed up and the fact that you're here now, that you're hungry for some action that can be channeled out of this energy of Sunday right into something really tangible. But not everybody knows about Third Act and who we are, what we do. We are a welcoming, organizing home for elder Americans, for folks over age 60, a place where you can come together to organize, to connect with each other, and also to take action to defend democracy and to protect our climate. And we don't think those things are so different. Sometimes they get talked about like they're different. Our work with Sunday was very much a part of that. And we are ready to pivot into some action that we hope will support what you were hearing a little bit about already here from Annie about legislation and the possibilities to maybe speed things back up, not just let them get slowed down. We're going to focus next in Third Act on how to simplify solar. We're going to be fighting for grassroots, local rooftop residential solar access and affordability, but in a slightly different way. A way that we also think really invigorates democracy by inviting everybody into some civic engagement and revitalizing democracy at a level that is still working. I'm very excited that we don't have to wait for new laws. We don't have to wait for a big change in federal leadership to speed things back up a little bit and make them a little more accessible and affordable. And the way to do that at the local and the state level is that we want to change the economics of installing solar by cutting some costs so much that it's going to help offset some of the recent damage that we've seen from attacks against clean energy. Because so much of that cost of putting the solar panels up on our roofs are these so-called soft costs associated with installation, a whole complex of antiquated permitting, inspection, and other solar rules. They're defined very locally, town by town or county by county, so they vary widely. And in some parts of the US, that tangle of paperwork and that red tape is making installing solar as much as 3 times more expensive. So that's the problem. The way this campaign at Third Act is going to tackle it, starting really just now, starting coming out of Sunday, is that there are these ready-made solutions for local governments to streamline their solar permitting, to cut the red tape, save the money. It's helpful for the municipality, which can be buried under paperwork as we accelerate this transformation. And it's good for small businesses and taxpayers at the same time. So with better local laws and with free tools like solar app software, these 6-month wait times, these multi-$100 fees can become instant smart permits. And in the same way that Sunday took its power from a mix of digital organizing and really hands-on local action, that's kind of the connection that we're trying to bridge here. The way this campaign is going to do that is we're going to start, and we've started, from the comfort of your home with an invitation to you to help find out and crowdsource some key info about your hometown. No matter where you live, from the comfort of home, we're inviting you to use your phone and your internet connection to help us better understand how does your municipal government handle its residential solar permitting. We guide you through the process. There's a form to fill out. You can skip the parts you can't find, and we're doing weekly calls, work party Zoom calls, starting with one tomorrow on Wednesday, October 1st. So you'll be able to sign up for any of those if you want to, if you want a little help following some instructions, or if you just like taking action in fellowship with your peers. We actually have a lot of fun on these calls. Um, Either way, as you're looking into a little bit about your own hometown and how does solar get onto roofs in your hometown, on Thursday, October 16th, so just a couple of weeks, we're going to hold a training and a campaign launch to really kick this idea of simplifying solar into high gear. We're going to be harnessing some of that research that people all over the country have crowdsourced. And we're going to help you understand some of the ways to make it cheaper and faster that we've been talking about. These streamlined tools and some support and resources about how to have a constituent meeting where you can tell your story and educate local elected officials, staff and planning departments. Maybe there's only one guy in your town who handles some of these decisions. So there'll be a toolkit and other things to support you so that you can have one of these meetings, get people informed, and that's going to lead us into a solar future next year, where we can really better support local, federal, and state legislation because we're building that support from the ground up. So we'd love to have you involved, and we think we've shared a link here in the chat to sign up for the training, and you can browse around from there and also get a feel for the crowdsourced action that we're taking all over the country to try to gather this information at a local level so that we don't have to wait for the years to come. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. And I see some questions in the Q&A that are maybe for you.
Great.
Next up, we have Amy with Green Faith, who is a great Sunday partner. We had well over 100 faith-based events for Sunday. So excited to hear more about their work. And I'll pass it to you, Amy.
Thank you so much, Deirdre, and so grateful to be here tonight. As we've heard, the work of Sunday brought so many people together. For those of you not familiar with Green Faith, we work with people of faith and spirit, some in congregations, some organizing in their own communities, to act on that faith and that spirit, to work for stopping fossil fuels, a just transition to a clean energy future, and making polluters pay. We do this through what we call circles of care and resilience. And so we build circles and then we are connected through our circles all around the country to work together. So we work locally, but we stay connected nationally and even internationally because we have teams in other countries. Green Faith was just so thrilled to engage with all of our partners and our faith base to continue pushing for a just transition to a clean, renewable energy future for all of us. But this mobilization was such a gift. We have been excited and grateful to meet even more people and faith communities who are working on climate justice in their communities. Of course, it is our hope that these connections will continue and be strengthened so that we can continue to build out the faith sector of the broader climate movement. But how do we do this specifically in such a unique moment when so much is at stake? As we move forward into 2026, we know that we need continued leadership on climate and clean energy. But as people of faith in community, we know we also need action on so many other issues, from food security and healthcare to immigration, and even to protecting democracy itself. So it is in that collective spirit that we invite all those who feel called to continue building the faith climate sector to join us on October 23rd, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, as we explore and take our next steps together. First, how to stay connected with each other and with Green Faith, but also to share a campaign idea that we are developing called Repeal the Steal, a moral call to action. History shows that when people of conscience act together, we can turn our anger and our fear into moral courage and transformative action. So this initiative will unite us across sectors to push back against the most harmful elements of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Its fossil fuel subsidies, its giveaways to billionaires, and its cruel cuts to clean energy, healthcare, food assistance, and more. We believe we must meet this moment together, and our voice, our presence, and our leadership are essential to building the kind of moral force powerful enough to defend democracy and demand justice. So please join us for this call and join us in anchoring a bold faith climate movement rooted in justice, courage, and hope. And there is a link in the chat, I hope, for the call itself. And there's also another link if you want to share that. It's a message from Fletcher, who is, I think, also in Rome with Bill and so many others who are working together at the Vatican on these issues. So thanks so much. And I'll turn it back to you, Deirdre.
Thanks so much, Amy. I want to meet the Pope. All right. Thank you all for your great questions in the Q&A. I just put, sorry, I was a little late on getting the third act link in there, but it's there now, as well as the Green Faith link. Next up, we have Bobby from Mothers Out Front on the call. Bobby, take it away.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Bobby, and like Deirdre said, with Mothers Out Front. And thank you so much, Deirdre, for bringing this call together. It's just so cool to hear from everybody. And we loved being a part of Sunday. So Mothers Out Front is a movement of moms, caregivers, and allies organizing for a livable climate for all children. We believe that real change starts locally. And when moms and caregivers build power together, we can shift what's possible in our communities. And we also know that moms are busy people, and they often have a lot of anxiety about the future that we're leaving for our kids. So we help them take meaningful action in ways that work for them. We offer leadership training and guidance on how to build like a community team locally, and help them meet like-minded people that they can share that work with, and so they can build power together. And often moms also need that connection. So we feel like it serves lots of purposes to build your community team of moms. Um, I personally lead our Sustainable Schools Resilient Communities campaign, and I work with moms and caregivers to engage with their school district to advocate for things like solar energy projects, electric school buses, geothermal, and clean air and water. And again, it just like engaging with the school district feels like it makes so much sense for moms because our kids are there all the time. They're breathing that air, they're drinking that water, they're riding those buses, and we are direct constituents of the school district. So when we come in and we make demands and we say we want these things for our kids, the school district really needs to listen. So if this sounds interesting to you and feel like it might be a fit for you, we'd love to have you join us. And you can click through the link in the chat to sign up to join a welcome call so you can learn more about Mothers Out Front and get involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bobby. I just put the Mothers Out Front link in the chat, mothersoutfront.org/volunteer for those of you who are interested. I was pretty jealous of the Mothers Out Front event in my area because they had a solar powered snow cone machine, which sounded pretty
No,
cool to
school
me.
bus powered.
Or school bus power.
We
Yes, that's
plugged
right.
the snow cone machine and the live band into the school bus battery just to kind of show that the electric school bus could power the school building, for resilience and in times of grid outages. But we figured that was a funner way to show it if we made snow cones.
It definitely stuck with me. Thanks so much for being here, Bobby. And we have our last speaker up next. We have Miranda with us from Greenlight America. Miranda, I pass to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Miranda Ehrlich. I'm the Senior Director of Campaigns at Greenlight America. And I am so excited to be here. So Greenlight America is a relatively new nonprofit. We've been around for just a couple of years. And we mobilize clean energy supporters to win permitting approvals for large-scale clean energy projects. So that's things like solar farms, large wind projects. We work on offshore wind, transmission lines, energy storage, etc. And first of all, I just want to say, I've been in the climate movement for around a decade. I got my start as a community organizer fighting coal plants. I worked at the federal level for a number of years, both on Trump 1.0 kind of resistance work and then passing the IRA. And I just wanted to say congratulations on Sunday. This is really, really a phenomenal effort. I think everybody on this call should be incredibly proud of themselves for what you all made happen, for the media coverage it generated. Like, I work in an organization that works on clean energy at the local level day in and day out. And I can tell you, I've heard from my organizers this week about the momentum that they're seeing at a local level and how more people are engaged than before. And that's exactly what we need in this moment. And like, you all did that. So anyway, just wanted to start off by saying that. So at Greenlight, we are tracking thousands of clean energy projects across the country right now that have been proposed that may or may not be moving forward. And something we're seeing in this moment is that this is actually a really important moment where we have the potential not only to advance clean energy, but advance really significant amounts of clean energy in a way that could transform the grid, despite everything that's going on at the federal level. And the reason for that is the vast majority of large-scale clean energy projects, whether it's wind, whether it's solar, they're being permitted at a local level. Sometimes the state level, but most often it's like the county decision makers are the ones who decide whether that project moves forward or if it will never see the light of day. And with the tax credits under the IRA set to sunset next year, there's a timeline a lot of the companies that build these projects are working under. And so they need to get their permits relatively quickly to make sure that they can actually start construction and get those projects finished to meet the timelines in order to get the tax credits. And so we actually still have a window to get more clean energy under that legislation, but we need to move quickly. We need to make sure that permitting delays don't get in the way. And right now, that is the number one thing that is stopping those projects from moving forward. And the reason for that, I think this is another thing folks on this call, I imagine, are pretty familiar with, but the fossil fuel industry has been pushing misinformation about clean energy for decades. And unfortunately, we see a lot of that misinformation floating out there in the conversation in a lot of these communities where projects are proposed. And so what Greenlight does is and I should also say too, that often means that when the project is having a hearing, only opponents show up. Supporters might not be showing up. They might be the majority, but they're not necessarily engaged. But opponents are showing up and they're saying, we don't want these projects. And so what Greenlight does is we help identify those local supporters. We educate them. We engage with them. We equip them to make their voices heard at these critical moments where projects are on the bubble. And that's where you come in. This fall, we're going to be doing a phone banking series that will be Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout until mid-December. We're going to be making calls on projects and local laws that are really important to move clean energy projects forward. And you'll be talking to likely clean energy supporters in those communities and helping plug them into their local efforts. And this is really important because these are the folks these decision makers need to hear from. And I'm not exaggerating when I say spending a couple hours making these phone calls could be the difference between like a large community getting powered by solar or being powered by gas or coal. And so, I think I would highly encourage you to, if you're interested, to hop on one of these phone banks. You can sign up at the link for as many as you'd like. And I also want to just say this Thursday is going to be our next phone bank. We're going to be calling on a local policy in Indiana where a county has proposed an all-out solar ban that would affect everything from community solar projects to really large scale projects. And so it's a major issue. It's happening right now. We need supporters to show up and force to that next county meeting to make sure decision makers know that people actually really like solar in this county and it's not just opponents. So thank you so much again. I hope to see some of you on our upcoming phone banks, and thank you again for the great work you're doing. I'll turn it back to you, Deirdre.
Thanks so much, Miranda. Great. All right. Love to work the phones for clean energy. You can all see the link in the chat to get plugged into Greenlight's phone banking campaigns, especially that important one in Indiana. We had some really great Sunday events in Indiana, so I'll make sure that they see those too. That was the bulk of our call, folks. Thanks so much for being here. Like I said, we're going to share all those links again. I know there were like 5 coming at you pretty fast, but we'll share them all with you over email. So don't worry if you didn't get them. We'll also have a recording of this call if you want to share it with your local group or chapter. You'll have that in your inbox soon. In terms of what's next, please stay tuned to your inbox and on Sunday social media channels to see what's next for us. Like I said at the beginning, this was the first Sunday in many, many decades. I always thought of it as a little bit of an experiment, and we feel like it went really well. And so we've gotten a lot of exciting ideas from partners and event hosts, people all over about where Sunday could go from here. So we'll be excited to share those updates with all of you as we figure things out. And then finally, we also have a Sunday petition that we've been encouraging folks to sign as part of their Sunday events. It's something that really echoes a lot of the work that you just heard about from all of our speakers. I'm going to put it in the chat now, final link. But please, if you haven't signed that yet, take a moment to. I know a lot of Sunday event hosts were planning to deliver this petition to their mayor or city council as their sort of Sunday follow-up action. So the more signatures we get on that, the better. And with that, I'm going to close our call. Thank you all so much for being here and for making Sunday happen. Sunday really showed us what's possible when people come together under one message. And that was just one day. So it's been really exciting for me to hear about what we could really build in the coming weeks, months, and years, and really build in terms of a movement for clean energy. So thank you all for being here and for helping us turn the momentum from Sunday into lasting change. And we'll see all of you in this fight in the days and weeks to come. Thanks, everybody.